Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Good Torah. So we're going to talk today about Devakus and the pain of separation. So what is Devakus? So Devakus or Devakut is connection. It's described sometimes as clinging, attaching, but it's connection. And what deep down in our neshamas and our souls do we really crave? So deep down, we want this connection with the infinite being, the infinite creator, with Hashem that's created us all. And then we have different connections and relationships in the physical world. And these kind of mirror that deep down desire to attach to Hashem. And what happens in the relationships when we don't feel this connection, we don't feel attached, we feel this great pain of separation, and we can see it all throughout the world right now. There is just misery and depression and just broken relationships, and just people are struggling for that connection. So how do we achieve it? How do we achieve this Devakus to Hashem? And then how do we achieve this Devakus, this connection in our relationships, and have a deeper bonding, loving relationship? So what's the secret? What's the answer? So we're not going to get to all all the secrets and all the mysteries, but we'll start the journey today and we'll talk about it. So Hashem's given us these wonderful tools, and the greatest gift that He's given us is the Torah. And the Torah is an explanation of how Hashem acts to us in the world, why He created the world, what our role in the world is, and how we attach to Hashem. And He's given us these 613 mitzvos. And when we do the mitzvos, they begin to attach us to Hashem, and it increases our Devakus. And that's just one of the many tools that Hashem's given us. So when we're young, we first have this relationship with our Abba and Ima, with our mother and father, that we want to feel that love from our parents. We want their approval, we want their love, and it starts to help us. And if it's positive and it's good, and those happy memories of childhood start to increase that connection, that feeling of connection with Hashem, with the infinite being. And then we have extended family and brothers and sisters, and we have the relationship with them. And what we want this bond. We want this bond of brotherhood and sisterhood, this bond of the close family, and this bond with our cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents. And unfortunately, right, so people give out as much, as they have, as much chesed and kindness and love as they have, and it feeds back on itself. So every relationship, the world itself, the beginning of it all, the 7 lower sephiros, which are the midos, which are the emotions, it all begins with chesed. It all begins with kindness. And it's a great start to heal any relationship, and it's a great start to make any relationship closer and better. It's just kindness. And what gets in our way sometimes is we just have all this fear of rejection and just the anxiety, and we feel that separation of the connection not being what we want it to be. But sometimes we just have to fight past that fear and anxiety and just open up and open ourselves up. And things open up through the chesed, through the kindness. Because it's really hard for other people to be mad at someone that's doing, kindness to them. And the more kindness we start to put out, it starts to come back to us. And then we're overwhelmed, and filled up with kindness, with chesed, and then it's so much easier to give it out in the world. So Rabbi Akiva, he said the most important mitzvah of the whole Torah, the klal gadol of the whole Torah, he said, v'achavta l'reacha kamocha, love your friend like yourself. And that's really one of the keys. And there's 3 great relationships of the Torah, and the mitzvahs help us to improve at and grow in. And that's the first, the relationship with ourselves. Bein Adam li'atzmo. We have a relationship with ourselves. To love other people, to love our friend, we have to begin to love ourselves. And when we realize we're the Tselem Elokim, that's who we really are. We're in this goof, we're in this body, but this body's not who we really are. Our neshama, our soul, this soul that was created, but Tselem Elokim, created in the image of the 10 sephiros. These holy spiritual sephiros, these emanations from Hashem, and that's who we are, and that's in our body, and we see it. And David HaMelech says, I can see it in my own flesh. We see the 10 sephiros in our fingers, and we see it in our 10 toes, and we see it in the shape of our body in the 10 sephiros. And this is the spiritual circuit board that starts to connect us with Hashem. And when we understand the midos, better, we start to connect better with each other. Hashem's given many ways to connect. One beautiful thing is tefillah, prayer. 3 times a day, the Anshe Knesset HaGadol, the men of the Great Assembly, they've written the Siddur for us, the prayer books. We have this beautiful Shema, and we say the mitzvah to say the Kriya Shema. And we say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Listen, Israel. Listen. Hashem is our God. This infinite being is protecting us, and he's always here with us, and he's everywhere. And he loves us, and he's protecting us, and we're never alone. And he's our God, and he is one. There's no other power. There's just one infinite being, and there's no other power in the world. And there's just this all-loving infinite being that's created everyone. And when we start to feel that, the Devakus grows. So other ways, another beautiful way, is just seeing the Maisa Bereshis. And it's great to do this on Shabbos, but it's great to do it any day of the week, to just go out in Hashem's beautiful world and take the time and just see the beautiful sunrise every day, or the beautiful sunset, or the majesty of the ocean, and the sand, and listening to the birds and the songs of the birds, and at night even the songs of the crickets. And a great sefer for Devakus is Perek Shira, that just starts to explain each pasuk associated with all of Hashem's creations, the sun, the moon, the sky, the clouds, all the animals. And we can just walk in the natural creation and just marvel at the rivers and the streams and the beaches, and that can also create a great Devakus, and it can just start to calm us of the anxiety of just all this anxiety of these relationships that we just don't feel as connected as we want to be. And sometimes we're so concerned with career or school or this thing or that thing, and just the real work, where the real work, the work we do, the job we do allows us to pay, to support ourselves. But the real work is the relationships. The real work is the connection between us and Hashem, the connection between us and a wife, the connection between a wife and her husband, the connection to our children, to our parents, to our grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. And that's the true reason we're here, is to increase these connections, this Devakus to each other. And the more we create the Devakus to each other, the connection to each other, and all these things can help us feel closer and closer to Hashem. Hashem has given us a world full of people, a world full of amazing animals, natural beauties and wonders that Hashem's created. And we see, if we look, we see that there's this wondrous infinite being that's given us this great life every day. And the more we can feel that simcha of Chaim, the joy of life, the happiness of life, it's also going to improve our Devakus and our attachments to each other. And another great way that's not so common right now, but was the ancient way of the Nevi'im, of the prophets, is through meditation. And it's just starting to clear our minds and let things, just releasing that stress and anxiety, and starting to detach ourselves from the senses of the physical world. And we close our eyes. One of our main senses, vision. And when we close that off, we start to detach to our physical world, and we start to limit the body. And then we start to get more in tune with who we really are, the neshama, the spiritual being that we really are inside the body. And we just start to tune out this physical world around us. And then that can just explode our Devakus to Hashem. And we can just think about anything. We can think about how we want to be close to Hashem. We can think about how we want to improve this relationship with someone, how we want to better ourselves. It doesn't matter what it is. We just relax, just let go of the stress and anxiety. But meditation is another great tool that we were given, for this Devakus Hashem. So this is just really a little simple introduction, and hopefully Bezrat Hashem we'll do much more detailed explorations into how to achieve Devakus to Hashem. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.